manage your way to the top from the post of Dr. Strive Masiyiwa. Ever since I became an entrepreneur, one thing that has fascinated me almost as much as innovations that drive new businesses is the complex management skill required to build large ones. Making a business bigger depends on management expertise. This is something many people do not really appreciate as much as they should. More than 25 years ago, I had a construction business that grew very well for a number of years. I had hired the best qualified people I could find, and we had many contracts. Then one day, almost out of nowhere, we started to struggle with cash. We just never seemed to have any money, even though we had big projects. I struggled to understand what was going on. I even accused the staff of stealing from me as I angrily sought someone to blame. Eventually, I was simply overwhelmed by creditors. In the end, unable to cope, I applied for voluntary liquidation of the business. It was a massive humiliation. Everything was sold to pay our creditors. I lost everything, and more than 1,000 people lost their jobs. Although I still had other businesses that were successfully operating, I was very disturbed by what happened, and for a while quite depressed. Over the months and years that followed, I did many soul-searching postmortems to try to figure out why a business that had at first appeared so successful could suddenly fail just like that. I know many of you have recently gone through what I am talking about now. You may even be going through it now. It is ultimate nightmare for any entrepreneur. As you start a business, the question of how you grow it into an even bigger business is really about management. After analyzing my own business as a case study, I concluded that I did not have sufficient management skills for what I wanted to achieve in my business life. At first, I thought to go back to university, but my circumstances at the time simply did not allow for a formal program. So I sent myself back to school. Of course, in those days, there was no internet or online courses. The MBA was a new concept. No one is born a good manager. It is an expertise you learn both through experience and education. People management, financial management, and marketing management are just three of the core courses that are essential to running a successful company. I became passionate about understanding modern management. I could never take it for granted. I threw myself at learning all I could find on the subject. I wanted to understand how someone could take a simple hamburger, which anyone can cook, and turn it into a global business like McDonald's. Every night after work, I sat down and read books. When I traveled, I would lose myself in bookshops, always in the business management sections. What I learned, I tried to put into practice. I subscribed to magazines on business management. Soon I could do deep diagnostics of what happened in my business that failed. It did not happen overnight. Let me tell you, in case you think there is a silver bullet, or someone lays hands on you, or bang, you are an expert in business management. God has given each one of us a sound mind, and He wants us to use it. This is what it also means to study and show yourself approved. Gradually, systematically, I began to see the deficiencies and how to address them. I began to understand the tools that are used in the management of a modern organization and how to use them skillfully. I cannot say I have fully apprehended but I am consciously working on it. You cannot address a problem that you are not willing to accept it exists. It starts there. If you want to manage your way to the top, analyze, read, ask the right questions, and don't be shy to benchmark yourself with the best in the world. A dear friend who had a lot of influence managed to negotiate to take over a very large business. It was successful and making money. But after a few months, it collapsed suddenly, just like my construction company. When he told me about it, I said to him, there is just a possibility we did not have the management skills to run a business that size. He was startled and angry, but I knew I had told him the truth. If you don't address this, you will end up destroying any business you take over. If you focus on mastering modern management skills, you will take the smallest business and make it big. But if you don't master modern management, you will take the biggest business and make it small or bust. The Americans call this type of talk tough love. Sometimes we all need some tough love. Don't just keep repeating the same mistakes and listening to people who tell us that there is someone else to blame. The great physicist Albert Einstein once said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Smart thinking starts with asking the right questions. Now that you are determined to start a new company or build yours into a very large one, you must ask yourself a critical question. You need to top up your managing skills. The decision to shut down that business was hard but necessary. If I had not shut it down as I did, then I would have gone out of the business completely. As an entrepreneur, you must never be afraid to make hard decisions that will help you live to fight another day. Don't let your pride keep a business going that has already died. There is no place for pride in successful business management. Closing down a business is part of business. There is nothing for you to be ashamed of. It is not failure. Even the largest business organization in the world will close down a non-performing business. If you are having a tough time in your business, for whatever reason, including those things which are outside your control, here are a few things you need to always remember. You are not the first person to experience what you are going through, so don't behave as though the world has just ended. Chin up, dust up, and prepare to fight using all your smarts. Don't be emotional about things. The last thing you want to do is to be emotional or sentimental. At the same time, don't pretend everything is going to be just fine, particularly when you are doing nothing to change things. Don't listen to people who tell you what you want to hear. Listen to people with a solution. Don't have pity parties with people who just want to keep talking about the problem you can all see. There is always something you can do, but don't cut corners or do anything illegal or compromise your integrity. Peace.